financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is elder law. Mom and Dad are not getting any younger.
Neither are we.
Good morning, Brian Small. I
morning.
feel young.
Well, when you can get your hair painted, you can get some
You can't.
plastic surgery and
I
all
haven't
those
had
things,
any
and
plastic surgery.
it doesn't make you any younger.
If you feel younger, it's a good thing. Good morning, Jeffrey Linden.
Good morning, Sir Gross.
Sir
Pat Simasco.
Good morning.
We're going to talk about elder law, mom and dad not getting younger. This is your favorite topic.
Yeah,
This is what you've planned your outline for our
I was going
discussion.
to say, do you think you get through such a lengthy outline today,
I
Pat?
did my outline for you.
There it is, folks.
You know, Jeff said the most important thing. What did you say a second ago? He said, Mom and Dad are not getting any younger. What did you say?
Neither are we.
And neither are we. And that's the big thing. The kids come in to me and they say, hey, my mom and dad, they don't have any paperwork. They don't. I've told them, we got to get it done. I go, great, you got your stuff done. And they go, oh, I got to get to that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that next. So, and it's sad because everybody needs the toolbox, right?
Right.
My father-in-law had Alzheimer's at 54. My dad had a horrible stroke at 61. My grandma, 98. All three were in the nursing home at the exact same time. My brother Joe, he just had a horrible stroke maybe a year ago at age 61. He was in the exact same nursing home bed that my dad was in when he had his stroke at 61. So everybody needs that toolbox, and you need it by when? When do you need your toolbox set up?
Before you have the problem.
Before it's too late, right? So that's what you have to talk about. And what I'm seeing now, the most important tool in the toolbox, because there's four of them. There's the medical power of attorney, the financial power of attorney, the wills, and the trust. But in the last few weeks, it's the financial power of attorney that's the key.
Yeah.
Whether you're 88 or you're 38 now.
Because as long as you
We'll go
have
with
that,
that,
as long as you
Or
have that in
18.
place, you can take action even if the person is incapacitated.
Well, yeah, so the two most important documents, and this is my biggest pet peeve, is you do a medical power of attorney, but you don't do a financial power of attorney. You got to do both, because both of them, doctors need this, and banks and 401k and IRA companies and health insurance companies and Comcast Cable need that document. And then number two, you got to have more than one person on it. You need a list. So I pick my wife and then my kid and then my next kid. And if you only pick your wife and your wife was in the same car accident, then you don't have
You gotta have
anybody.
backups, for sure.
So if you don't have those, you got to go to probate court, and it's an absolute nightmare. And just coming over today, I was going to meet a friend for breakfast after this, and his nephew just got in a real bad motorcycle accident.
Oh,
well,
geez.
if he's 18, who can make the decision?
Right.
And the
He's
answer
it.
is nobody. We had this case. Guy gets divorced, and he's up north in Traverse City, and he has a horrible, horrible heart attack. And sitting at the bedside is his girlfriend, his daughter, his ex-wife, and his dad. So the question is, who has
Who
authority
makes the
to make his decision? And everybody thinks they do. Well, the girlfriend thinks, well, I'm his girlfriend.
Right.
And the daughter says, well, that's my dad. And the ex-wife is the one that's always, well, that's my ex-husband. I have the right. And then the dad.
Isn't the answer no one?
No one does.
Yeah.
No one does. In that scenario, we did the power of attorney, and he picked his dad. So we could email
He's going to probably
him.
pick his dad or his daughter in that situation.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's the normal situation. They don't do diddly squat. They didn't do anything, or they never changed it from when they got divorced. So,
Right.
it's
You know,
so-
I've got one going on right now. It was a long-time client that He just passed away. He was in his 80s, and he had 2 children, but he was distant from them. But when we did his estate plan, he wanted his children to be his power of attorney, the son and then the daughter as the backup. Same thing as successor trustees. And so he ends up tanking before he goes under. And really, while he was in his late years, his person who really looked out for him was his office manager. But she wasn't on the power. She didn't have the authority. So he gets into this bad scenario where he's going to the nursing home and he needs to do some planning and some issues. In fact, I had her call your office and talk to you. I just didn't let you know that he expired. But the problem is he had to go to the son and the daughter on the power.
Oh, yeah?
And then it turns out the daughter is taking all his credit cards and just running them up the balance for her own personal uses rather than using that money that he needed for some care and for some issues. Then he passes away. We had done a ladybird deed, but the ladybird deed's passing the house to his 2 kids. Well, the one son's in California, doesn't want to have anything to do with it. The daughter's here, but she's not trustworthy. So it's a big mess.
Yeah. The big mess in that same light is the old days when you couldn't have same-sex marriages. So you have this relationship, 2 guys forever. They live together, they love each other, but they have no rights to each other's medical decisions, financial. Then his, a lot of times the family doesn't like that relationship, so that's a war. So that's where you need the power of attorneys. But so kids need them when you're 18. Kids never get sick, right? But you still need them. And then the grown-ups need them because they may get sick. And then the older people really need it. So we're going to talk about all those 3 sections and all the problems that can come up.
Yeah. So I find that this just came up. Younger couple, middle-aged, 30s, not really middle-aged, but 30s. And I find that when we're doing plans and I'm asking them who they want their fiduciaries, the agents under the powers of attorney to be, they have young kids and they're picking their parents. And I'm always having to say, listen, by the time unless a catastrophe happens, by the time you need it, and they don't have anybody that they trust.
Well, that's not unusual because if you're in your 30s, your parents are still in their 50s and 60s. It's when it's remembering to update your estate plan within the next 10 years to choose somebody on the younger side.
Circumstances change. Let's take a break. We'll come back.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
For almost 60 years, Samasco Law has been the trusted source for helping families navigate the uncertain world of estate planning and elder law. And now, our firm is growing even stronger with the addition of attorneys Joe Frazard and Kelsey Samasco. 2 more lawyers to make sure your family is protected now and into the future. Call Samasco Law today for a free consultation. Our hardworking team is standing by to provide you peace of mind. Samasco Law. Protect what matters.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, It's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, we're back. So let me give you a personal experience. So I have an estate plan. So I have a medical power. I've got, I got a durable power. I went in for some elective surgery. It was just a one-night stay in the hospital, and then you get out. And when you're in that, you're in observation status there. So you're not really admitted into the hospital, even though you stay for one night. But I ended up back in the hospital the following week because I got an infection. And there I actually went through the formal admittance process, which I had never experienced that before. So like the second day there, woman comes in, a nurse, and she says, I'm from whatever division, I need to go over some things. And she says, we want to make arrangements for you for, have you given any thought to rehab? I'm sitting there saying, what is she talking about? Rehab. I got this infection. I feel fine. I'm going to be out of here in a day. And she says, do you have a medical power of attorney? And I'm sitting there saying, it's like, oh my God. So I said, I have a medical power of attorney. If you'd like, I can email it to you.
You know why they did that?
And she says, well, what do you have in there? Do you want do you want us to keep you alive? So I'm sitting there saying, I said, let me explain it to you this way. If I'm flatlined brain dead, don't keep me alive. If I have a heart attack, you do everything you can to bring me back. And she says, okay, I get it.
Yeah. So anyway,
but the thing about that is you were in control of your own medical care there because you have the capacity. Without that medical power of attorney, if you don't have capacity, because let's say you were in that hospital bed and you were unconscious, now somebody else is making that decision. And while you've given somebody the power to make those medical decisions in that patient advocate document, the biggest problem I see is people don't have the conversation and tell the person who they're giving the power to what they actually want.
Well, they all know. Well, I'm going to slow roll that one. Number one, what Jeff said and what you said, you do an order. I picked my mom, but if she's too old, then she can resign, and I pick my sister, my brother. Everybody knows, what Jeff or Ken just said is what everybody wants. I want to be kept alive unless I can't be kept alive, unless I'm on a machine. It's those million little questions. Well, what about this or what about that?
Right.
And you can't ever have enough conversations on.
You can't anticipate it.
So you just have to pick the person that you trust. Brian, I trust you to make my right decision.
Yes, but there's a big difference between not having the conversation and just I trust you. If you have the conversation and somebody that you've given the power to makes a decision to terminate life support, that's because they know that that's what you wanted, not what they think you wanted. Well, and the difference is the guilt that they may have to carry around with them for the rest of their lives.
I see where you're coming from. I can see that problem happening when it's the children that are holding the power with the elderly parent.
Yep.
If it's spouses and your spouse is coherent and your spouse is the one who's your attorney, in fact, to make the decision, spouses have had that conversation. Like my wife and I know that if we're in a vegetative state, pull the plug, okay? That conversation, actually my children know that too, but you don't have that ongoing constant conversation with your children because you're not anticipating it. Whereas you have that conversation with your spouse because you've gone through that process with your own parents,
you know what,
with your parents.
The weird thing is they never get rid of the guilt. It's in there, but you put it in there. It says, I don't want to be on life support, pull the plug. But so that's the medical, but the financial power of attorney. So in our plan, so I was joking, the reason that they went in, because Bonnie called me, she said, you're going to be in the hospital. I said, well, let's throw his ass in the nursing home. We can save all the money. He'll be out of your house. He'll be out of your hair. We can protect all the money.
And why she'd be really excited is then she could sell the house because she hates the house because she wants a ranch.
But that's for you, but also your in-laws. It's the same thing. Remember we talked about that in past shows. Dad's in the nursing home, mom's home. If you spend all the money to take care of dad in their nursing home, there isn't any money to take care of mom. We had 3 cases in the last month where we can save every dime of the money for the at-home spouse. Every dime of the assets, every dime of the income. Dad's in the nursing home, we can get Medicaid to pay 100% of the nursing home bill. 100% of the assets are protected for the at-home spouse, but we got to have a financial power of attorney, and the power of attorney has to have the paragraph in it that I need to protect the assets, and it has to have the order because mom can't do it for dad. It's got to be one of the kids or the next person in line. So we had 3 cases in the last month. They didn't have a power of attorney, they didn't have the paragraph in it, or they didn't have the second person in line, and that just screwed us.
A disaster.
It was a nightmare.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Mom and dad. Wait, mom and dad.
Thank you.
Mom and dad.
You're so traditional.
They're both tanking equally fast. You have no way of knowing who's going to go first.
I'm going to give you the answer on that. God has a plan for them, and he's just not telling us. If you can tell me exactly who's going to die first and when, I can lay out the most perfect plan.
Can't tell you.
And if you can't, then you just got to hope for the best and plan for the worst.
You
That's
guys got
That's it. Right you don't have a
as far as the planning goes, you have to pick one and gamble.
Normally,
because you can't protect all the money if they're both tanking. Or
well, you can't protect it. So what you do? Let's say they're both going in the nursing home, right? Or they're both in the nursing home.
Or they
you
need
get
to
the
be.
person on Medicaid that's going to live the longest.
You can't tell.
You know what? All you can do is try.
You
know what? It's forever. If you're going down fighting and you're trying the best, and they all understand it. People understand. You don't know, and they don't know either.
But sometimes you just got to make the best decision.
Well,
you can.
It's like the guys. Dad's a lot older and he's got cancer. Mom's younger and she's got dementia. Who's going to live longer? Probably Dad. Mom. Probably.
I got 97 and 95.
I'm going to tell you, dying is never a problem. So if you got 97 and they're going to live forever,
97 can walk around.
My mother,
doesn't know your name.
Yeah.
93 can't get out of bed.
I would pick mom
but can tell you every president what term they had and can tell you what she ate the last 4 days in a row.
I'll give you the answer when we come back from the break.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
So last question. How old should your granddaughter be before she gets to spend the inheritance all on her own?
Thanks, Grandma. Ciao.
Yeah, thanks, Grandma.
35! You've worked hard your whole life to create a lasting legacy for your heirs. Let Samasco Law help you make the right decisions to protect the ones you love. Samasco Law, protecting what means most, because that's what we do.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to announce THAV GROSS has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon Building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website, thavgross.com, to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Simasko. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Simasko Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
We're back. Here's Dad. Here's Mom. What do we do?
So first of all, one's mentally weak and physically sound. One's physically weak, and they're opposite.
Yes.
Combined, there's a whole body. They can take care of each other, right? But if one dies, the whole machine breaks down because that other person can't handle. So you have to plan for that one person that's probably going to die first. And in that scenario, I hate to say it, your father-in-law, he's probably older. Men live less, they have less life expectancy, and he's sicker physically. So you would plan if he passed away.
No, I got it wrong. She's sicker physically, he's sicker mentally.
So you can split up the baby. If this is what you have, though, Dad dies, it goes to Mom to the nursing home, they're going to take it all. Dad dies, it goes to the kids, disinherit Mom, it's protected from Mom's nursing home. You got to disinherit the surviving spouse. Because if the surviving spouse gets it,
but don't you
couldn't
need to
you
figure
just
out who's going to be the surviving spouse?
well, what you can do,
Could you disinherit both and just have everything go to the kids?
No, because that's a gift. You can't. If they give away money now, how many years do you have to do it before then?
5.
Okay. So if Dad dies and he disinherits Mom, did Mom give away money? No. So that money would be protected. So what you do in that scenario, bank account, Dad and kids. Bank account, Mom and kids. You know how you can wire transfer money back and forth? You want all the money in the name of the person that's going to pass away first. So you've got $100,000 and $100,000, and Mom's passing away. You wire transfer
you wait
to Mom.
And you move it till you see which one's ready to go.
You can split up the baby.
Because Mom and Dad make frequent trips to the hospital, but they seem to come back.
We get the calls all the time. Oh my God, Dad's passing away. Well, let's get into Dad's name. A week later, oh my God, he got better. He rebounded. Put it back into Mom's name. So you literally can transfer money.
So you got to keep moving it fast.
Yeah. Luckily, it does not.
That's a lot of work.
Well, it is, but really, it doesn't happen that often. You don't see those scenarios.
No, this. I have to say, this is somewhat
now,
unusual.
Now the difference, what Jeff said. He's got the same situation with his mom and his dad, but they're not married, right?
Right.
They're not married. Big difference. So they're a single person. You can't do that type of plan because
you have to have a married person to transfer.
Married couples, you have married couple planning techniques. Single people, you have single people.
So that's a bigger problem.
So here's
you
the
need
question
more
for you.
time.
How do you get an 89-year-old woman with dementia and a 92-year-old man with Alzheimer's married when they won't get out of the house?
You don't.
Can't you bring a priest to the house?
You know, the funny thing is, I never had anyone.
Do you have to have capacity?
I never got anybody divorced to protect the money from a nursing home, but I never got anyone married to protect the money from the nursing home. My father-in-law, he was single. He divorced my mother-in-law, and I said, "Get together, hey."
Well, like
there's always a first time, though. That's the one thing that I've learned in practicing.
But it's a real issue.
There's always on the horizon the first time you've done it.
But it's a real issue that comes up because for whatever they chose to not be married, and they've been together 30 years, okay? But marriage provides a survivor benefit for Social Security that they won't have, and they don't have a lot of money. A survivor benefit for veterans benefits because he's a veteran. But you have to be married at least a year before you get the benefit of that.
For Social Security and VA, you're absolutely correct. For Medicaid, you just have to be married. So if you got married and you got a married certificate, give it to me. I'll protect it all.
So for Medicaid planning, you could do it. For Social Security and VA, you have to be married a year.
So you remember the old
a year. They're probably going to be around in a year.
The old Seinfeld episode. Elaine starts dating that old guy, and all of a sudden he has this horrible stroke. So if they got married, if you're married for 1 second and he has the stroke, all of your assets are his now for Medicaid purposes. But I just got married. It doesn't matter. I never commingled my money. It doesn't matter. It's all our money. But when it's our money, we can protect it and get you on Medicaid. So that's a
different planning thing. If you think the person is going to likely have a stroke, you don't want to marry him.
No, well, again, if he's got a lot of money and he's really bad shape, and he marries that person, then we can protect it.
But the flip side is he doesn't have the money, you have the money, you get married, he has the stroke, you got yourself a Medicaid problem.
Yeah, you got, and that's what happens a lot when you see the older people and they want to get married, or they're getting married for companionship, they're dating these people for companionship. But yes, the surviving wife, who her husband died, I said, "You going to get married again?" She goes, "Hell no, man, I took care of one already. I don't want to do that all over again."
Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind, and we're running out of time, is the framework that this is all happening is if you can't qualify the person for Medicaid and they're in the nursing home, that ticket is running you 12 grand a month
and
for each one of them.
It's the same bed. It's the same bed, the same pillow,
and what's the average stay?
32 months.
So that can, that turns out to be for husband and wife a $600,000 bill.
And the other problem is worse. It's a second marriage, and the wife says, "Hey, I got to put my husband in the nursing home," and his kids go, "You can't put Dad in the nursing home. You got to take him home and take care of him." Really? Get your ass in the house. You can help out. I'm too busy. I got my kids got soccer and blah blah blah. So it's the armchair quarterbacks that we deal with every single day.
I think as a general rule, armchair quarterbacks should be tied to the chair.
That bat on your desk.
The bat from a previous show. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.